Anthony Murray. I'm a research consultant, currently consulting for medical services.
Priscilla Kariuki, Department of Psychology, University of Nairobi. Good morning, everyone. My name is Beatrice Asenwa. I work for Center for Policy Analysis, a consultancy firm, and I'm an institutional capacity development consultant, focusing on systems development and gender mainstreaming.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Helen Mushuno. I work for the International Republican Institute. I'm a senior program officer with a specific focus on gender and empowerment of youth and marginalized groups.
Thank you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Manfred Kingendo, a lecturer at Kenyatta University and a consultant on conflict.
I'm Dr. Mwiti. I am a leadership consultant. I teach leadership. I train leaders. We have an institute called the Leadership Institute of Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Before I introduce the CEO, I want to say a few things. The forum that we are having, which you elaborate more, is on partnership, this second round. I would like to bring to your attention some of the work that has been done in terms of planning in this country. I've been a policy and economic advisor, and also the national consultant for Kenya on East African Community Vision 2050. And that was after being the director for economic sector in the National Economic and Social Council, which is the institution which came up with the Kenya Vision 2030. Kenya Vision 2030 is the planning blueprint for the country, and it has been socialized both to the development partners, the private sector, and also to the civil society world, the NGOs and so forth, and the media. And most of the development partners were socialized in it and sensitized so that their development programs go in line with the Kenya Vision 2030. Now, at the level of East African community, East African community have also now come up to do a vision 2050, so that the 2050 is informed by the visions of the 5 countries, and the 2050 also is anchored to the Africa Vision 2063. Now, when you come down back this way, the Vision 2030 and those other forums, there is what has now been put together as it's called AFCOP. AFCOP is the African Community of Practice, which is a coalition of leaders and practitioners drawn from public sector, non-state actors, private sector, academia, media, development partners, committed to improving lives of citizens across Africa through using management for development resource practices throughout Africa. Now, in Kenya, this program has been domesticated through the Ministry of Planning. If you have not come across this book, which is called Putting Results First in Kenya, which is being spearheaded by the Ministry of Planning, in particular the Department of Evaluation and Monitoring. It has put the programs and how both institutions and the public sector institutions and private sector institutions, civil society can formulate themselves using these best practices to deliver results. And one of the things which has been emphasized in this, as I was looking at it, is communicating behavior and attitudinal change has been emphasized very much here. It has also been emphasized and captured in the Kenya Vision 2030. And as a blueprint, I am very glad because when I was visiting one of the ministries, the Ministry of Interior and Coordination, they gave me, well, I was there for a long time as a chief economist, but they gave me the sector plan for peace, security building, and conflict management. And when I perused through it, I actually saw that it's talking about the same things in terms of saying that in accordance with the Constitution of Kenya, it is expected that the programs and projects outlined in the sector plans are implemented closely, being consulted and collaborated with the county governments, and also involving the private sector, including public-private partnerships. And the premise of even the Vision 2030 is that the implementation, 80%, between 75 and 80% of the projects are supposed to be through PPPs. So that is why this is a very unique meeting, because mobile digital screens is a private sector institution. They do business. But because it's a requirement of partnerships and collaboration, the area of passion, which is to do with communication, which they have perfected through technology, can now be taken advantage of by various institutions. That's why we thought, in line with what is expected through all this documentation, and even for peace building and cohesion, that it's good that we discuss together, so that the partnering which has been done with IEBC last time, which saw very few spoiled votes in the counties which are marginalized, because people participated so much that with the additional program, which is COMBI, then COMBI meaning communication for behavioral impact, then much more can be done in terms of communicating. The private sector have also been invited to partner, and the development partners, because they also can take advantage of the screens through different parts of partnership, which we shall explain later, whereby their messages in terms of what they are doing on the field can also be brought to bear, and the advantage can be taken by them maybe sponsoring certain things in the process of time. By and large, that's what I wanted to say. And we will now invite the CEO, Ahmed, to introduce himself and give some few opening remarks before we go to the next items of the agenda. Thank you.
Okay. Ministries that are in our departments or agencies, development partners, staff of Mobile Digital Screens Limited. I would like to welcome you all here, and thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules. We really feel honored that all of you have come to this meeting to contribute and participate in it. Having said that, I have a few points that I want to mention, and I know there are quite a number of people who are knowledgeable in some of the fields that will be discussed, but I will just have to also mention a few things. First of all, of course, all of you know the subject of this meeting. It is a consultative meeting, an experts consultative meeting on how to conduct voter education using communication for behavior impact methodology. This will be the first time it is done with regard to elections, I'm sure. And it is focused, although it's a general thing, it is focused on empowering women through women and youth and the persons living with disabilities through the election process. And not just as voters. Of course, we want them to vote, all of them. But we want more of them to participate as candidates. That is the core of this now campaign that we want to do. The campaign is called Patriotism Beyond Differences. Having women and youth and the disabled and other marginalized communities participate in elections as candidates, especially from marginalized areas, would require behavior and attitude change. And that's why we are talking about COMBI, Communication for Behavioral Impact Methodology, which is said to be best for behavior change and attitude change, especially for would-be voters. Teaching the national values and principles of governance, it's also very good for that. It will be very good for that. Okay. Kimani has already said that we are a business organization. We are not an NGO, development organization, or a government department or agency. And so the question comes, why would you want to be doing this thing? This looks like it's the ambit of organizations like development organizations, NGOs, and government departments. I will have to tell you that this is a business again. It's a for-profit organization. But it is different. It is different because it does its business differently. It does its business, as it does business, it gives back to society simultaneously. In fact, in some cases, as I will show, in advance. And doing this thing, we're saying Patriotism Beyond Differences campaign in all the 47 counties within 12 to 18 months. That's a big thing. So how are we why are we thinking of doing that? I have a friend of mine who calls the activities that we engage in as jackpotism. He has a new name for, jackpots. When you participate in some kind of game of chance, you win something big sometimes. But that's not an everyday occurrence. It happens occasionally. So, sarcastically, he refers to the activities that we undertake as jackpotism. Expecting to do something big when you are not. It's not like everyday thing. But I say, it's a belief. You don't have to be big to think big or to aim high. And I have a confession to make here. Confession is, it's not jackpotism. By the way, there's some new word also that is called affluenza. Some people might have heard about that. People who are grown in plenty, been raised in plenty, they've been, from childhood, they've been given anything they wanted, so they think the world is the same. They have no responsibilities, they don't know how to deal with people. There is a case like that in America. I think some of you might have been following it. So there are names that come up. My friend calls this kind of activity jackpotism. But I have to say, as I said, I have a confession to make. I suffer from an infection. I think to say in front of people. It's actually a virus. That virus, it's called outside the boxness. Thinking outside the box. It's a virus. And I say it's a virus because it's dangerous. Let me try a little bit of drama. I'm not very good at it, but I'll try. Right? Its symptoms. The symptoms are bigness of ideas, even some level of madness. Okay? Accompanied by active, noisy bowels, even diarrhea. With a burning desire to seek the common